Alright everybody, this video is going to be about choosing colors for your web pages. You're going to use Gimp to look at a page and choose colors from that page to create a palette, one of the palette, so that you can work with it. Now, what I want you to think about is that whenever you are looking the internet, you know, every web page has got color relationships. You know, you can see even in this screencast-o-matic, you can see the different colors that they're using. This blue on Smashing homepage. There's a lot of white, but there's also a lot of gray. In this particular case, there's not a lot of gray, but you can see the different colors that they're using: oranges and greens. Different colors, especially along the sides here. Another page that I like is here. This has kind of a greenish gray palette. We've got these nice colors here and here and here. And one of the things that when you're looking at websites for inspiration, which you should be doing, you want to be thinking, well, what are these colors, you know, and how can I get a hold of them, and without just trying to eyeball it. So one of the things you can do is, let's say for instance, I want to look at the colors on this page to know what color this orange is, to know what color this green is, or this blue, or this. What I can do is on my keyboard, I can hit Shift and Print Screen. A print screen is a button on my keyboard. Shift, Print Screen. And when I do that, I should be able to go into Gimp and hit, when I hit in Gimp, I've opened up and I hit Control V and paste. And what I'm going to see is it gives me this page, a copy of this page here that I can look at. Now it's this web page, I'm using two computer screens, so it's giving me my screen on the right and my screen on the left. And it gives me these images. And I can use this to sample the color values out of it. Now I will want to keep track of this and write it down, or make some sort of, what I like to do is I might keep this as a document and have these actual colors written out for me. But just as however you keep it is up to you, but I just want to show you how you can get a hold of it. So once you have this page loaded up, I'm going to go over here into my on the side here, and I'm going to choose this little eyedropper tool. This eyedropper tool allows me to go over and select, notice this box down here, select these colors, and I've selected that orange color. I can go over here, double click that, and I can see that that value for that HTML notation is right here, E0688008, or sorry, 6808. So this is my hexadecimal value. There should be 6 numbers, 2, 4, 6. And I can write that number down. Remember, you need a pound sign in front of that when you add it to your HTML. So if I wanted to go here and choose this green color, for instance, I can go back over here, and I can see that there's the color for that. Even if I wanted to choose this guy's purple, whatever this purple is. Now remember, depending on where you click, it's going to be, you know, if I click down here, it's going to be that dark color. If I click here in this middle, it's going to be that purple. But if I want this orange, I'm going to go up and put my tip right in there and select it. So I can find out what that value is and use it. Okay, so what I recommend you doing is finding a lot of different color palettes that you can work from. Now this one works with these different grays. Notice that I've got to close this out in order to sample that new color. So there's a gray, and there's my value for it. And I can create swatches as well that might be helpful. As I add that, notice that green was added, this little checkbox. So if I go here and click on this blue, now it's not showing up here, so I'm going to cancel this out. I'm going to go here to click on the blue, go back to this box and hit this as well. So it's adding those color swatches here as I go along. Okay, so that's very, very helpful when you start to work in the composition that you're working in. So I recommend making lots of references for websites that have color palettes that you like to work with, and use those exact colors. You've got whites, these different warm and cold colors. Now let me show you something else that's very handy. Let me pull up a different site. Now one of the sites that I like the color palette of, it just kind of struck me as interesting. I'm gonna make a new page here, and I'm gonna close this one without saving it. I'm gonna pull this up. One of the palettes that I like is from the UNICEF, and I'm gonna just go to their website here. I have one already. And I like this blue color palette. So I'm going to view this image. And if I hit Shift Print Screen, I'm going to go back to here, hit, there's my colors. So if I choose that color here, one of the things it does is it gives me that color. Now, one of the things that's really important is that this palette is kind of it's missing some of its complement. So if I just have the grays and if I just have the blacks, what I really need is a warmer color to pop out this. If I wanted to link or if I wanted to highlight something, I want a complement that will work. What do I mean by that? If you go to Google, and if you look up color wheel, hopefully you know this. When you're dealing with color wheels, you have you have colors that are opposite one another. So if I'm working down here and say this blue-green area, colors that work as complements to it or contrast high against it are going to be on the opposite side. So what that means is if I have a palette that's primarily full of cool colors, I want to have like a link or something that is accentuated, I'm going to choose something over here. Now one of the things you want to make sure you're doing is choosing colors that have the same intensity value. Like I don't want to have a very strong color palette and then have a pastel color palette that wouldn't work, meaning it would be less saturated. I want to keep things kind of relative. So one of the things you can do is notice that I've chosen this blue color and here it is represented in my window. Well, if I want to choose a warm color and keep it in the same kind of relationship color wise or saturation wise, notice that this stayed in the same spot. It didn't get darker or lighter. It stayed exactly where it was, somewhere roughly in that location. Let me go back and let me go cancel that and sample that color again so I get the right value. So it's up here. Now as I move this down into, let's say, a warmer, if I wanted to use an orange color, or if I wanted to do something like this, here, what I want to do is I'm going to make a swatch of this. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to make a swatch of that blue. So here's my blue, okay? And I'm going to say okay with that. And now what I want to do is I want to go up and I want to choose a new color, only a warm color, say more of a yellow. And I'm going to add that. So now I have this blue and this yellow as a complement or a contrasting color to it. I can also say choose maybe another cool color, maybe a green of some sort, maybe something a little less intense. Maybe a little bit more blue-green or something like this. That will also work in my color palette. So these three here could be used together in a relationship. So that sort of thing is very handy. So I have my numbers, and you can use those on your website, try them out and see how they look. They look great on top of this black or this charcoal gray colors, and they would work well and they would be related because you've maintained the same hue and saturation values on the color itself. So using these tools will help you build a very nice looking relationship in your colors for your websites that you can use. All right, so that's something I want you to think about and utilize in your own websites as you are developing your designs and working on all of these attributes for your CSS. All right, good luck. Have some fun.